You know those times where you cross paths with people who are making a positive difference in the world? Well, today I have the pleasure of introducing you to a good friend and just happens to be a best-selling author, Karl Beckstrand, author of 30 plus best-selling titles with reviews by Publishers Weekly, Kirkus, and School Library Journal. Karl, he was born and raised in San Jose, California. He has a bachelor's of journalism and a master's in international relations and conflict resolution. And he's got a broadcast and film certificate. Now, since 2004, he has run Premio Publishing, and he has won multiple publishing awards, including a 2016 International Book Award for his young adult Western, To Swallow the Earth. Karl's mysteries, nonfiction, self-help, and Spanish bilingual books, they feature ethnic characters, and they usually end up with a twist. So welcome, Karl. It's so nice to have you on Santa's About.
Thanks for having me, Santa.
Oh, you bet. So I got to ask you, Karl, growing up as a young boy, we always have this vision of when I grow up, I'm going to be, and was author on the list when you were a little boy?
Not at all. Books bored me as a kid.
Really?
Most of the books that I read were boring textbooks.
Yeah. And so were you a leisure reader at all, or were you a get out and play kind of kid?
I was a get out and play kind of kid. But when I was 8 years old, I got the measles, and my grandmother gave me a chapter book called Bicycles North, A Mystery on Wheels. And that got me hooked on books.
So it was the mystery that got you going, huh? And did that become a favorite genre of yours as a child?
Oh, yeah. I love mysteries.
What were some of the mystery series that you really got into?
I think we had a few Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew books around the house. Mysteries, as far as movies, one of my top genres.
So how good are you at saying maybe a quarter of the way through, that's the person?
That's funny. As a writer, that's one of my favorite exercises, to stop a movie, about 3/4 of the way through and say out loud what I think the ending is going to be, and then watch the rest and see which ending is better.
How often are you able to nail it as far as solving the mystery?
Oh, so yeah, nowadays it's pretty easy. But once in a while, whenever I find a movie that surprises me, that's a gem.
Yeah. It almost seems, at least to me, when I'm watching a mystery, about a quarter of the way through the story, you're like, yeah, it's that guy because he's the least likely person in the story up to this point, or she, or whatever. So yeah, I get it. The prowess of like an Agatha Christie, there's a lot to learn from those early mystery writers.
Yeah, if you're going to be a mystery writer, don't have the ending be such a surprise and there was no evidence all throughout the book,
Right. Right. You really want it to be, that's why that happened in chapter 1, or that's why that person said this about whatever topic in chapter 3. And so you eventually became a writer. What inspired you to get to that point?
I was in college, and when I should have been doing homework, I would get story ideas. They would ambush me, and they wouldn't leave me alone until I scribbled them down.
Do you feel like that was a flash of inspiration directing you, or was that just, there's a thought, and it kind of grabbed your attention?
Yeah, at the time, I didn't feel like there was a lot of inspiration involved, but now looking back, I realized it really did put me on a path to become a publisher.
Well, yeah, obviously, because you are now an award-winning author and publisher of many of your own books. Take me through that first book that you wrote. Was it an idea that just kept pestering you, and then you wrote it? And then how did you come about actually compiling it and putting it together to bring it to print?
So my first published book was called Sounds in the House, a mystery, of course.
Yeah.
And it just came to me, I think, all in one sitting. I wrote the whole story down, I think, in one day.
Wow.
And I set it aside and thought when I was old I would try to get published. But I joined a writers group in Utah after college, and just kind of walked around not knowing anything, peddling my manuscripts. Does anybody know an editor or an agent? And one gentleman read through some manuscripts and he pulled one out and he says, I'll publish this one. That was Sounds in the House.
Was that for young children, adults, or teenagers?
For little kids, to help them realize that being afraid of sounds at night is normal. It's kind of funny. For a mystery, it's pretty funny.
Any personal experience that led to?
Yes, for sure.
What was your most scary sound in the house growing up?
Oh boy. I think just the wood settling, creaks and cracks. And that's in the book, It's about a little dog who's alone in the house at night and he hears these sounds and doesn't know what's causing them.
Ah, gotcha. So the book is from the perspective of the dog. I can relate. I've got a dog that, whether there's sounds or not, she's convinced that there's sounds in the house and will respond on a level 10 to a level 1 noise. As I'm sure is the case for many people that are watching this interview. And so you found this publisher through a writing group. Did you have any concept of what process somebody would go through to actually bring a book to print?
Not at all. So it was a learning experience. And then the day we went to print, he actually passed away suddenly. And so I kind of had to shoulder a lot of responsibility for making sure things got done the way I wanted.
Is there a predetermined template that you go through that was already established, or did the death of your publisher put you in a position like, great, what do we do now? Or was a lot of the future path already laid out?
Well, he had already, of course, got the illustrator and had the illustrations done and the editing and the typesetting and all that. And it was ready to go, ready to print. But the things I didn't know about were how it was going to be distributed, how it was going to be marketed,
Yeah.
and where and how to do that. So that was a big learning experience.
Wow. So looking back on that now, the things that you learned because of that experience, did that put you on a course for where your current position is that perhaps would not have been the case if that had gone all according to plan?
Yes, because I think if everything had gone smoothly, I would have just sat back and hoped for royalties. And well, I don't know. It's very difficult to make money off of one book.
Sure.
And so maybe the lack of sales might have prompted me to do more, figure out things more. Although sales were pretty good for that book.
Yeah.
Even though it was just me behind the marketing. But yeah, bad experiences with one other publisher prompted me to start my own company and do it all myself.
Uh-huh. Isn't that the way life goes, though? We take a look at a situation and think, oh, how could it be worse? I can't believe this happened. And then you take a look back years later, because now you are self-publishing. Would it be fair to say that some of your life experiences with your first publisher passing away, and then also a bad experience with another publisher, that put you in the position to where you've decided to self-publish?
Absolutely. Because at that point I was so motivated because the publishers control the content and they control the marketing or lack thereof, and they control the money. And I had issues with about all three of those things. And so whatever I didn't know at that point about publishing, I was determined to figure out myself and get it right.
Yeah. And so being a self-published author now, is that something that you're glad that that's where you're at? And so our life experiences that lead us down a certain path although we may look at them at the current situation and say, this is just horrible. I can't believe it. It's how you react to those circumstances that determine your future course.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. And so you've got mystery books. Are all of your books mystery or?
No, I've got a Western novel. I've got biographies, short stories, self-help. So I've got a mix.
Yeah. What are some of the self-help topics that you cover?
One is called God Adores You. It's a relationships book.
And are most of the books geared toward children that you write?
Picture books, yeah, I have several picture books. But yeah, the Western novel is for adults or young adults. Short stories are for teens and above.
Just as a disclosure for anybody that needs a primer on your books, they're all appropriate. People are not going to be surprised by giving one of your books to their children and saying, "Oh, if I'd have known that topic was in there."
One of my children's books to their children, yeah.
Yes.
So there's nothing raunchy in my novel either. Yeah.
When people become passionate about doing something, there's always that big why. Why am I doing this behind that passion project? What's Karl's why?
I like to share information. I like learning, and I love it when people share information with me. But if it's going to be in a book, it's got to be entertaining. Because, like I said, as a kid, I was so bored with textbooks.
Was there a certain learning experience that you had growing up that was in more of a story form that you could point to? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot by asking that, but is there one that kind of stands out that way?
Well, aside from getting hooked and transported by that mystery I mentioned when I was in third grade,
Yeah.
um, gosh, To Kill a Mockingbird, so educational, but you don't know that you're being taught while you're reading this story.
Right, because the story itself is grabbing. Then you come away having learned things that you had no idea about. I mean, because you grew up in San Jose, California, probably one of at the time that you were growing up, safe and families. You had plenty of good, wholesome kids to grow up around. You didn't see a lot of the ugliness that other areas of the country may have experienced. So we learned that through reading other people's experiences, like To Kill a Mockingbird. That's a great insight as to your why. And so a lot of your books, or all of them, they have that lesson, or do you have some books that are just pure entertainment, that there's not necessarily any life lesson involved in it?
Well, yes and no. I think it's impossible not to communicate.
Yeah.
And if you tell a story, people are going to learn something. So, yeah, that should be the priority. Tell a good story, and people will get something from it.
I love that you answered the question that way, because everything that we do in life, if we do it with the idea that we're going to change the world for the better, turns out that you do, right? Whether that be through a story or anything that you're doing. So that's fantastic. You're a self-publisher. There's got to be some people that are listening to this interview that think, oh, I've got an idea. I wonder, how do I get that into an actual book? Take us through the process of idea, production, illustration included, and then how do you, let's say that you've got that one passion project. I just have this idea for a book. I want to write it. I don't want to be an author. So I don't want to go through all of the expense of a publisher and all of that jazz. how do I get that book published from start to finish?
Sure. A lot of authors are actually ready for their editors and don't know it. They feel like they've got the meat and bones of the story down, but they don't think it's ready to be published. But that's where you need an editor. Editors are so valuable. They can help you restructure completely your story. I mean, that's their job. So it's okay if it doesn't feel like it's a fully rich, complete story. Start with your editor. And if you're going to go the publishing route, their editors can help there too. After that, if you're going to self-publish, yeah, you want to do the formatting and layout the way Amazon or Ingram want you to. These are two companies that do print on demand, upload files, and the book doesn't exist until a customer clicks, and then it prints and ships to them, and you get a royalty.
As far as illustrations go, because a lot of your books are illustrated, or are all of them illustrated?
No, but a majority of them are.
Yeah, majority of them are. Did you do your own illustrations?
I illustrated about 6 of my kids' books, but the rest were done by professionals who are faster than I am.
Right. So, having gone through the experience, what advice would you give to somebody that's written a book?
Yeah, don't do it yourself unless you've had some good training. And I had decent training, but I'm just not as fast as the professionals. And they often come up with much better ideas.
So, how does that go about? Do you just give them the transcript and say, I want you to come up with the illustrations, or do you collaborate?
Yeah, you can have detailed notes page by page if you want for how it should look. I find that illustrators can come up with wonderful ideas that you may have never considered. And so I do give, a page count and a general idea of what's going to transpire, but I kind of let them go and do their own thing because often I'm much more pleased with what they come up with than what I had in my head.
Right. Is there a specific example that you have in one of your books where you sent that to an illustrator and you're like, oh, this is the idea. And then they came back with something either slightly or significantly different. And then you're like, wow, that's spot on.
Yeah, I had an illustrator in Spain. His name is Luis Sanz, and he's done 2 of my books. And one he did called Why Juan Can't Sleep. Just phenomenal work.
Yeah.
And he just made the whole book dreamy because the topic was dreaming and sleep.
Sure.
I was very pleased with the ideas that he came up with. The look, the child who can't sleep and he's almost nodding off, and what the world looks like when you're just about to nod off to sleep. He just came up with that.
Oh, that's great. And it made the book much better than it would have been without his interpretation of the illustrations. That's great. So where can somebody go to see your work?
Amazon or kidsworldbooks.com has all my books.
And Kids World Books, that's your domain. And so all of your books. And then do you have other authors that are
Yes,
highlighted?
I distribute other authors. I'm not technically a publisher for them, but by including their works in my catalog, because I have good distribution and good wholesalers across the country, that helps them out, help the other authors.
And so do you do any consulting to authors that have gone or that want to take the same path as you? And how do people get in touch with you?
They can go to kidsworldbooks.com, and there's, I think, an author page, book Karl Beckstrand.
And so that would be a contact me way that people can reach out and perhaps collaborate different ideas. And with your experience, do you offer any coaching, things like that you offer for a fee, or how does that work?
Sure, I do. In fact, I'm not accepting manuscripts, but I do. I can refer people, to agents and editors and illustrators. Actually, I don't know any agents right now, but I do coach. Yeah, help people know how to go about things.
So, what's the difference between an agent and a publisher?
Nowadays, you almost need an agent, no matter what, to get access to a publisher. If you just submit directly to a publisher, your chances are very low of them even looking at it.
Gotcha. And Are there any promotions or products that you offer through kidsworldbooks.com for our listeners?
There's always a free ebook on there. There's always a free book on Amazon Kindle also. And then also on Kids World Books, I have lesson plans that go with each book.
Oh, really? So people that are looking to either enhance their child's public or private education or homeschoolers, that would be a good resource. And those, generally the lesson plans associated with the books, those are offered for free on the site?
You can get a free book or two on my site. And then if you purchase any book, you can get a free lesson plan.
Oh, fantastic. So bonus for those that are listening to Santa's About. Well, actually for anybody, because you're good that way, Karl. You're on the nice list all the time.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, man, this has been such a great pleasure, Karl. I really appreciate the experience that you have gone through and your willingness to share that experience to help other budding authors. And in closing up, is there a word of inspiration, a little nugget of wisdom from your life experience that you'd like to share?
Well, for authors, I always tell them, sit down every day at the same time and write at the same time, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You'll eventually get your book out. But just overall, in general, my mom used to always say when I left the house, remember who you are. I think a lot of people's parents said that. But as I got older, that really has been helpful, because not only do I find that I do better in life remembering that I'm a child of God, but also it reminds me that everybody that I see is my brother or sister.
Yeah. And imagine how much better this world would be if we treated each other as if we're all brothers and sisters and children of God. I love it. That warms my heart, Karl. Thank you so much for taking the time to extol your life experience and your wisdom and your wit and joy that you bring to the world because of your work. So thank you.
Thanks for having me, Santa.
You're welcome. Thanks so much. I really hope that you've all enjoyed this episode, meeting Karl. And do check out his site, kidsworldbooks.com, and download a free episode or a free issue of a book. And also, it's a great way to put some stocking stuffers into your kids' stockings. Some of Karl's books. That would be fantastic. So thanks again, Karl. And we wish you the best of success moving forward, and best of success in your writing.
Thanks. Bye, Santa.
Bye-bye.